So let's talk about Cad Bane. He's back and that's awesome. End of video. Just kidding, but seriously, it's great to have him back. We haven't seen him in 9 years. I mean, he's popped up in comics here or there, but we haven't seen him on screen since the Clone Wars episode Crisis on Naboo in 2012. That's crazy. People were already asking this question before we knew the famed bounty hunter would appear in the Bad Batch, but now that he's back for real, I've seen this question being thrown around even more. Does this mean we could see his unfinished Clone Wars arc with Boba Fett? At Star Wars Celebration 2015, Dave Filoni and Pablo Hidalgo talked about some of the unfinished arcs of the Clone Wars, and one was about Cad Bane and Boba Fett. The gist of the story was that Bane was going to train Boba to be as good a bounty hunter as Jango so they could eventually go head-to-head, and Bane would prove that he was the greatest bounty hunter of all time. We've seen 2 unfinished clips from that arc that also suggest Boba would have assembled his armor over the course of the 4 episodes. It all seems to end with a duel between the 2 of them where they shoot each other. Bane's hat falls to the ground and Boba's helmet is shot off, revealing that very familiar dent. Some people have assumed that Bane dies in the duel, but that's never been confirmed. We've also seen looks at concept art for what would have been Cad Bane's new model and ship called the Justifier. It's funny, Filoni says it was a cool ship, but it's never going to happen now. I would not be surprised to see the Justifier in coming episodes, because Cad Bane's new look in the Bad Batch matches what was shown for his Clone Wars arc almost exactly. So, will we get to see this arc play out in the Bad Batch? I respond with a resounding maybe. I know that's not exciting, but it's the truth. I hope we do. I'm actually leaning towards seeing it, but who knows? I think it would be awesome to see some version of this story on screen, but many of these unfinished arcs have just been assumed to have happened whether or not they've ever aired. They were part of George Lucas's vision for the show, they were stories written with his input, so that might make them untouchable in a sense. But I don't think that has to be the case. If you can translate the spirit and meaning of what George wanted to say and shift it out of the Clone Wars era just a bit so it's happening during the rise of the Empire, I say go for it. Fans of the Clone Wars want to see it, and it would also potentially pull in people who have maybe just watched The Mandalorian on Disney+. They're excited for the Book of Boba Fett, but haven't given animation a try yet. Oh, but wait, Boba Fett is in this? And Fennec Shand? Alright, I'll check it out. I also think the episode Reunion set things up for a Boba Fett return pretty well. Lama Su says he's hired multiple bounty hunters, so maybe we'll see Cad Bane having some competition as he tries to deliver Omega back to Kamino. Boba Fett could show up with the intention of stealing the bounty from Bane, but then he realizes that the target is effectively his sister. The original arc seems to end with Cad Bane threatening innocents to force Fett into a duel. Omega could very easily become the new motivating factor for Boba Fett. Not to mention the fantastic duel between Hunter and Cad could be perfect foreshadowing for that final moment between the 2 notorious bounty hunters. We've seen how fast Bane is. He took Hunter out pretty easily. So if or when we get to that moment again, I think it'll be full of tension, even if anyone who's seen that unfinished reel knows how it ends. It's also entirely possible the duel between Hunter and Cad was all we're going to get. That might have been a fun allusion to a story we never got to fully see. It's shot almost identically, so maybe the standoff between Fett and Bane already happened during the Clone Wars. Bane survived and kept on doing his thing, collecting bounties and chewing on toothpicks. Who knows? Like I said, I'm leaning towards us actually seeing Boba appear to have his moment against Bane. That's probably mostly my hope talking, but what do you think? Will we see parts of the unfinished arc play out in the Bad Batch, or has that moment passed? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all our Bad Batch coverage, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page where we're releasing audio commentaries for all these episodes. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.